The night the valley drowned, the night began in peace. A soft wind drifted through the open window, carrying the faint scent of wet earth after an evening rain. The house that James and Diep had built, standing quietly on the edge of the valley, glowed with a gentle, golden warmth against the dark silhouette of the mountains. Inside, laughter filled the living room. Diep had just finished brewing tea, the steam curling through the lamplight, while James sat at the wooden table, sketching the outline of his next project. It was one of those rare, unremarkable nights that feel perfect precisely because they are so ordinary, simple, still, full of quiet joy. "You're not working late tonight," Diep teased, placing a cup beside him. James looked up with a small, tired smile. "Even CEOs need to rest sometimes," he said, leaning back and watching her with an affection that softened his sharp, businesslike features. "I still can't believe this is our home," he murmured. "After everything we've been through, it feels like a dream." Diep's gaze drifted toward the window, where droplets of rain still clung to the glass like tiny jewels. "Dreams can come true," she said gently, "as long as we hold on to each other." For a moment, silence wrapped around them, a peace that felt almost sacred. Outside, the rain began again, faint at first, then stronger, tapping a slow rhythm against the windowpane. James stood to close it. "It's just another night of rain," he said softly, but something inside him felt uneasy. The air was too heavy, the wind too still, as if the world itself was holding its breath. When the storm arrived, later that night, they lay side by side, listening to the drumming rain. Diep turned toward him, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do you think the storm will get worse?" "It'll pass by morning," James assured her, though the words felt hollow. Somewhere deep inside, a quiet instinct stirred, one that told him this was no ordinary rain. Outside, the wind began to rise. The shutters rattled, lightning flashed across the valley, followed by a distant rumble that rolled through the night like a warning. The lights flickered once, twice, then went out completely. Darkness swallowed the room. Diep gasped and reached for his hand. "The power's gone." "It's all right," James whispered, squeezing her fingers. "I'll check the circuit in the morning," but the storm wasn't waiting. The rain turned violent, hammering against the roof in furious bursts. Somewhere outside, a loose sheet of metal clanged against the wall, and the faint trickle of water became a deep, rushing roar. James froze. That sound, it wasn't the rain anymore. He went to the window, peering through the dark. A flash of lightning lit the yard, and what he saw made his breath catch. Water. Thick, brown, and fast-moving, pouring down the hill toward the house. Too deep, he shouted. Get up. The river's overflowing. She sat up, confused. The river? It's miles away. Not anymore, he said. The next flash of lightning revealed the nightmare in full. The peaceful night had transformed into chaos. The valley was flooding, the house underwater. The floor trembled as the floodwaters reached the house. The wind howled through the broken shutters. Too Deep screamed as icy water burst through the cracks under the door, swirling around their ankles. Get everything off the ground, James shouted. They scrambled to lift what they could, documents, clothes, a small box of keepsakes, but the water was faster. It rose inch by inch, swallowing furniture, dragging away chairs, papers, memories. The current twisted around them, pulling at their feet. James. Too Deep cried, clinging to the staircase as the last light flickered out. He waded toward her, his clothes soaked and heavy. We have to get upstairs. They climbed as thunder cracked overhead. The house groaned and shuddered, the walls creaking under pressure. Below them, the living room was gone, submerged beneath swirling, muddy waves. It's rising too fast, Too Deep gasped. What if it reaches the second floor? Then we go higher, James said. We'll make it. We have to. The ceiling shook as the wind ripped at the roof tiles. Rain poured through the cracks, drenching them even inside. James ran to the window and tried to open it, but the pressure outside held it shut. It's jammed, he yelled. A deafening crack followed, a side wall collapsing under the force of the flood. Water exploded through the lower level. Too Deep screamed as the floor lurched beneath them. James. It's collapsing, he grabbed her hand, pulling her close. We're going through the roof, it's our only way out. He spotted the small attic door above. The wind howled like a living creature as he shoved it open. A burst of cold rain and air hit them, wild and merciless. Go, he shouted. Too Deep climbed first, her hands slipping on the wet wood. James pushed her upward, refusing to let go. When she finally pulled herself onto the roof, she turned back, reaching for him. James, hurry, he followed, the storm clawing at him as he emerged beside her, the struggle to survive. They crawled along the slippery roof, clinging to each other. Below them, their home, once the symbol of all their dreams, was sinking into the flood. Everything's gone, Too Deep whispered through tears. Not everything, James said, gripping her shoulders. We're still here. We're still together, but the storm showed no mercy. The water rose higher, licking at the edges of the roof. The wind shrieked. Lightning tore the sky apart. I'm so scared, she cried, burying her face in his chest. I know, he murmured. So am I. The roof trembled beneath them. Then, with a sickening crack, a corner gave way and collapsed into the flood. We can't stay here, James shouted. We have to move. Lightning flashed again, revealing a massive tree not far away, its thick trunk and roots standing strong against the current. There, he pointed. We have to reach that tree, it's too far. Too deep, cried. We'll never make it. You have to trust me, James said, holding her face between his trembling hands. Don't let go of me, no matter what. Before she could answer, the roof split apart beneath them. The world dropped away. They plunged into the icy water. The cold hit like knives. Too Deep gasped, choking as the current dragged her under. She fought to surface, her arms flailing. James broke through nearby, coughing, calling her name. A flash of lightning revealed her face, pale, terrified, struggling to stay afloat. He swam to her, fighting the current, muscles burning. I've got you, he shouted, grabbing her waist. Don't let go. Debris rushed past them, trees, wood, furniture, all crashing and tumbling in the chaos. James shielded her as best he could, forcing his body through the current toward the tree. Grab it, he cried. He caught a low branch, the force nearly tearing his arms from their sockets. He pulled her close, both of them clinging to the trunk, gasping for air. For a long time, they said nothing. Only the roar of the flood and the pounding of their hearts filled the night. I thought we were going to die, Too Deep whispered. James touched her face, his voice raw but steady. Not while I'm still breathing. The morning after, they clung to the tree until the storm finally began to fade. When dawn came, the rain had turned to a whisper. The valley lay silent, broken, and drowned. Too Deep and James climbed down, their clothes torn, their faces gray with exhaustion but alive. Around them, the floodwaters receded slowly, revealing what had once been their home, now just fragments of wood floating in the mud. Everything's gone, Too Deep said softly. Not everything, James replied. He brushed a streak of mud from her cheek. We still have us. She looked at him through tears. That's enough, she whispered. Together, they turned toward the sunrise. The light broke through the gray clouds, warm and golden, the same color as the house that no longer stood. The storm had taken their home, but it could not take their hope. They walked forward, hand in hand, through the mud and ruin, toward whatever waited next. After the flood, a reflection. The story of Too Deep and James is more than a tale of disaster. It is a reminder of how fragile life is, and how love, when tested, becomes its truest form. In one terrible night, the flood swept away everything they had built: the house, the dreams, the quiet routines of everyday life. Yet what survived was stronger than the storm itself: the bond between two souls who refused to let go. When the river rose, it did not care who they were. Wealth, titles, and plans meant nothing before nature's power. For the first time, James, the man who believed he could control everything, was utterly helpless. And in that helplessness, he found truth. Too deep, gentle and trusting, discovered courage she never knew she had. Together, they fought not for success or pride, but simply for life, and for each other. The flood became their teacher. It stripped away illusions, leaving only what mattered. It taught them that walls and roofs can fall, but love, if real, endures. When morning came, they stood amid the wreckage, holding hands. Their world was broken, but their hearts were not. And in that moment, something began again, not the life they had before, but a deeper one, built on gratitude, faith, and love.